Tonight, we are going to preview the UFC Fight Night Liverpool card at the Echo Arena on the 27th of May. That card is headlined by Liverpool's own Darren Till, and obviously he will fight Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. So as you can see, we've got a few people on tonight. Just to make some introductions, first of all, we've got the Daily Record's own Tom Heffernan. Well, and the gentleman down there is MMA UK's Peter Knox. We also are waiting for McCann from MMA UK as well. And the expert for the evening is James Doolan, the head coach at Higher Level. Thanks very much for coming on, James, and giving us your thoughts on the card. So we'll obviously cover the main card, and we'll cover the UK fighters that are participating on the card. So the first fight we want to discuss is Bradley Scott. Obviously Bradley, who was supposed to be fighting in London, and he is fighting Salim Touahari. So James, can you just give us, first of all, your thoughts on that fight?
I think it's a good fight. I remember seeing the Polish guy fight Matt Inman at Cage Warriors, and I seen his UFC debut. I think I like Brad Scott as a fighter. I think he's underrated.
And how do you see the fight going?
I think the Polish guy will start fast, have a pretty good first round, and then Bradley Scott will take over, probably beat him on points. I think maybe 2 rounds to 1.
So decision win, you think, for the UK's Brad Scott then there?
Yeah, I think he's durable. He's really tough. He's probably more well-rounded. He's been in with better guys.
Yeah. Just to switch over, Tom, obviously, again, just give us your thoughts on the fight, how you see it going, and what you think ultimately the outcome will be.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Brad from Tough to Smashes. I don't know if any of you remember that. It was a while ago, 2012, when he was a really tough customer. He got right to the final, lost the final to Whittaker, unanimous decision. So he's going to take a bit of beating. The unfortunate thing for Brad is he's not been particularly active. He's only had about 6 fights since 2012, and quite a lot of that was at middleweight. So he lost a few fights, unfortunately for him. So he's moving back down to welterweight for this fight. I think that might suit him better. He's going to be a much bigger customer. The Polish fighter, Salim, I think his name is, he's going to come in looking for a knockout. I don't know a great deal about him, but I had a wee look at his record. I've looked at some of his fights, and he sees himself as one of these powerhouses, like James said. He's going to start fast. He's going to try and crack him in the jaw, and I think his only chance is an early stoppage. As soon as it starts getting a bit tasty, after that, I think it's Brad's fight, and I think Brad will probably submit him towards the end of the second round. That's what I think.
So we're 2 for 2 with Brad Scott there. So we'll move on to obviously probably somebody that's going to be out with Darren Till, one of the most anticipated on the card, and that's Molly McCann, who's obviously recently just signed from Cage Warriors. She has a Liverpool herself, so she'll have the home crowd with her. And she's fighting Gillian Roberston. What do you think about that one, James? And obviously Molly's debut fight in the UFC as well.
I think that's a dream come true for her. The card going to Liverpool and obviously signing. I think watching her at Cage Warriors, she levels up when she fights in Liverpool. The Scousers are passionate, and then she seems to perform better there. I think the other girl's going to have to shoot her to beat her in Liverpool. I don't know too much about the other girl. I know she lost to Cynthia Carvalho, who's a lot smaller. She's obviously pretty good. She lost to Barb Honchek, but I think Molly McCann's just kind of coming into her own now. She's better and better. Cage Warriors is always it's not a massive jump for Cage Warriors to the UFC, so she's competing at that level. I think on the night, the emotion of the crowd and stuff will just carry her through. I think she'll thrive on that.
I was going to say that, obviously, it is the debut, and a lot gets made of that because it's a UFC. That added factor of it being a home crowd in Liverpool, like you say, a dream come true. So do you think that'll actually work in her advantage then going into the fight?
Yeah, I think some fighters don't like that. The pressure will kill them, but she seems... I've seen her look she's very good. But then when you see her fighting in Liverpool, she looks better than she looks anywhere else. She seems to feed off the crowd and stuff. There'll be a big support there for her. She's very popular and stuff. So I think that'll, even if the other girl technical on par with her and stuff like that, just the crowd and stuff on the night's going to push her forward. I think she can control that. She's not going to come out and let it get to her and go off her head and make mistakes and stuff. It'll be controlled aggression from her, and she'll put the pace on her, I think.
So fair to say then that you favour Molly in this one then?
Yeah, I think so. I think she'll stop the girl maybe round 3 with strikes or something.
But I think Molly needs this as well, because I don't think there's anybody on Molly's level in Cage Warriors right now. I think this is a natural step up for her, and this is where she belongs as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so I think we're sort of all in agreement. I mean, I kind of shadow what you said there. I think the sort of stars are aligning for Molly in this one, for her to get and shine. She's got better and better throughout her career. And I see Molly winning. I don't know if it'll be a finish. I think it might be a decision victory, but I definitely feel it's written in the stars for Molly in this one. The next fight we've got on obviously for our predictions is Eric Spicely and Darren Stewart. I don't know a great deal about Darren Stewart myself. I've looked into him. What's your thoughts on that fight, James?
I don't know too much about Darren as well. I've seen him fight a couple of times, but we fought in Brazil. Stevie fought in Brazil against Alan Patrick, and Spicely was on the card there, and I was really impressed with him. He's quite an unassuming guy. He was a dead pleasant guy, and he fought a big, aggressive Brazilian guy there and put on a really good performance. I think he's a very good fighter. He's kind of similar to Brad Scott. He's underrated and stuff. I think he might be too much for Darren Stewart. I don't know how well he'll travel to England and stuff, but he's pretty clued up with Brazil.
Yeah. I think that's definitely, obviously the travel with guys coming over here. With Spicely, he's well travelled anyway. So I was back and forth in this one, having looked a wee bit at Darren Stewart, but I'm leaning towards Spicely myself. I actually think it might be an early finish for Eric. Do you see an early finish, or do you see this one going the distance?
I think he'll sub him. He's a good grappler. He's a 5-star guy. He's solid, kind of everywhere, but he's deceptively very good on the ground.
Perfect. So next up, we're going to go to you first for this one, Tom. We've got Manny Bermudez and Davey Grant. Give me your thoughts on that one. And obviously, Davey Grant, how do you think he'll do in the fight?
Davey Grant's another Ultimate Fighter contestant that's on this card. And I remember watching him at the time as well. He's a super nice guy, and he's probably one of the most unluckiest guys in the UFC because of his injuries. He's been out constantly. Every time he's scheduled to fight, he gets some injury. Hopefully he's all right for this one. But I just don't know. I don't know if he's been out too long. I know he's 1-2 in the UFC. He's been really unlucky. The guy that he's up against, Manny Bermudez, Cage Titans champion, undefeated in 12 fights, a bit of submission specialist as well. The only thing that's going against Davey in this one is that all his losses have been submissions. So, but in saying that, sometimes we see two submission guys coming in against each other and we see knockouts. So it could be that. I think Davey's got the advantage on the feet if that's where it's going to stay. But I just worry that he's maybe been out of action a wee bit too long, and Manny's got that kind of hunger to go in there and finish it. As much as I want Davey to win, I think his chance of winning is a knockout or a TKO. But I've got a horrible wee feeling that Davey's going to lose this one, and Manny's going to submit him probably in the third. Hope I'm wrong.
Don't know, Manny. And James, obviously, just following on from what Tom said, how do you like Davey's chances in this fight?
I think it's a big ask. I think this guy's a bit of a prospect coming in and Tom's kind of hit the nail on the head when Davey was coming up in the UK scene when he was active and he was fighting regularly. He was excellent, and then the inactivity is just he's been unlucky and stuff like that. I think he's definitely capable of beating any bantamweight about, but the inactivity, and then obviously there's been some issues with the camp with Carol Tanswell passing away and stuff. It was Davey's head coach was a massive loss. I really hope he gets the win. Like Tom saying, he's probably the nicest guy in the sport. He's a brilliant guy. I know he's working with Alex Enland and stuff, so he's going to be getting very good coaching. That's a real strong team they've got at SPG in Manchester. And he is capable, but this guy just seems like he's 12-0 for a reason. And the UFC are quick to match these prospects with guys that they're maybe going to knock off on their debut fight.
And you were obviously talking there about issues with inactivity, and obviously then the loss of his coach Carol. We'd seen that well. How big an impact does that have in somebody's career? First of all, just the inactivity. Does it just stunt progress, not being in there enough?
Some fighters more than others. I think when you're on the second or the third contract in the UFC, and activity is not as bad, but with the first one or two, you want to batter through that as quick as possible just to get acclimatised to that level and the division and stuff. But Davey's a very capable fighter. He's not looked bad in the UFC at all. He's had some tough matches and stuff. Yeah, but I think inactivity is a real thing.
And obviously, just following on with that, with the loss of his coaches, just how difficult do you think that's going to be for a fighter mentally to deal with, losing somebody that's been so influential in your career? And obviously, I'm assuming somebody really looked up to as well. Yeah,
I think there's some coaches that wouldn't be that bad, but Carol Tanswell was like an exceptional coach. He's a very, very hands-on coach. He really cares about his guys, and he's dead close. His team's close-knit. I think that's a guy that you can never replace. Like if you gel well with him and stuff, he's a guy that they won't replace. He was a phenomenal coach. He was a guy, a coach I looked up to, and kind of stole stuff in and bounced ideas off and stuff. And I don't think I think if anything, Davey's going to come out and the rest of the guys for that team's going to dedicate their fights to Carol and stuff.
Yeah,
and push them on and use it as a positive that way. And obviously, Carol always schooled them pretty well, so they've got his teachings and methodologies and stuff to fall back on. But I think the fact that it's the first fight since Carol passed and stuff makes Davey dangerous. Like he's nickname, but I think he comes out and similar to Molly McCann, he's going to take a lot of stopping. If he's in that mindset. And
just on that, one thing we've learned in the UFC anyway over the years is guys fighting's obviously, like say, he's 12-0. He's a prospect. Well, I think if you look at what happened with Paul Craig down in London, it's probably why the sport is as loved as it is. That just anything can happen, and you do get those shocks in a card. So hopefully Davey pulls it out the bag. I think it would be great for him, and obviously for the UK fans going to watch the fights.
Before you move on to the next fight, James, can I just ask James Doolan, with Davey's injuries that he's had over the course of the past few years have been pretty serious. There's been his back, his ankle, his knee, and I think he almost either did break his arm and he didn't tap one of the times, or he felt cracking, or he heard cracking and things like that. When you've had such significant injuries, it's required surgery and so on. Do fighters get over that easily, or does that play in their mind when they're in there that they might suffer a setback, or it might flare up, or are they just like, what the doctor says, it's fine, I'm medically cleared and it's game on? How does that come into a fighter's thinking?
I think it depends on the individual, but I think it's part and parcel of the game. Like every fighter's going to get them. As long as they rehab it right and come back when take the time they're supposed to and listen to like whoever's in charge of their rehab, physiotherapists or whatever, and then come back and put the work in, strength in the areas and stuff. It can be an issue, but in general, most of these guys are not going into the fights with foot niggles. And when you've been in the game for as long as Davey has, there's a lot of wear and tear in your body. There's a lot of mileage in your body and stuff like that. So there'll always be some kind of issue. But I think Davey's biggest strength probably his mental toughness and strength. You can see it in him. He's not the fastest guy in the division. He's relatively athletic. He's maybe not the best technician, but he's tough as shit. He's just a tough game dude. So I think that wouldn't be an issue for him.
Just to follow on for you, just obviously we're going a wee bit off predictions here, but it's something I wanted to ask you. With regards to that, fighters with wear and tear in their bodies and so on and so forth, do you feel training methods are now starting to move in the direction where guys are getting, obviously it's a contact sport and injuries are always going to happen, but do you see camps and people starting to move towards smarter training and maybe not going crazy in the gym as much as let's say shoot the box days and things like that?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've been trying to do this for maybe the last 5 or 6 years. We have Paul McVeigh's wife's a doctor, so she was like concussion management stuff and that with us, and we've kind of moved away from it as much as possible. I think most of the big gyms and stuff are we try and do maybe 1 or 2 hard days a week, and then the rest is pretty technical and stuff.
So it's just more about the balance as well. And is sort of recovery methods and that, do you feel that obviously from your fighting days as well, do you feel that the recovery methods are still the same, or is there better physio out there and better weight? Like, for example, just I know we probably don't have it as much here, but like cryo and stuff like that, is there more things like that available to fighters?
Yeah, everyone's better since I was fighting. We basically just panelled each other all the time. Because we obviously back then we didn't really know what we were doing. We had nobody to guide us so much, but now these guys are kind of learning and drawing on our experience. But every facet of the game's evolved now. The kind of physio stuff, the rehab, the recovery, the dietitians, the strength conditioning stuff's been toned down a good bit. Everyone's kind of evolved a fair bit since even in the last maybe year or 2 years.
Perfect. Sorry we went a wee bit off topic here. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that while we have you, James. So obviously a couple more fights before we get to the big one. Next fight is Makwan Amirkhani. Obviously Makwan he's been training over in SVG. I believe Bungard was out there training with him recently. And he's fighting Jason Knight. I actually think this fight could potentially be a very, very good fight. What's your thoughts on that fight, James? How do you see it going?
That's also my favourite fight in the card. I like both those guys fighting. I think Makwan might out-grapple him. I think he's a very good wrestler and stuff like that. Jason Knight's scrappy as shit. It's a proper 50-50 fight, I think, that one.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's hard to sort of separate the two of them. The only thing when I was looking at them is I think probably Jason's maybe fought a wee bit tougher competition. I think as well, Jason's coming off, he lost to Ricardo Lamas, and then obviously I'm trying to remember the gentleman he's last fought, he lost. Anyway, so he's off the back of 2 losses, so he potentially is fighting for his career in that fight. Do you think that could affect the outcome at all?
He fights every fight like his career's on the line. I think he's no game plan or not apparent game plan. He's quite reckless and kind of gung ho. I think he's pretty exciting that way. I think he's one of the guys that could lose 3 and they would keep him just because you know he's going to be exciting. Yeah. I don't know if he's thinking about that. I think sometimes that's a bad thing to go into a fight with that in the back of your mind.
What about with regards to the level of obviously competition the two of them face now? It's not to say Makwan hasn't fought high level competition. It just I think Jason's maybe just fought a wee bit higher level. Again, is that something that could factor in at all?
Yeah, I think so. I think Makwan's coming off a loss to Arnold Allen as well.
Yeah.
Which is an excellent fight. So if Jason Knight's been smart, he's probably had a look at that as some kind of blueprint for doing the same thing. I think Jason Knight's has definitely fought the better guys.
Yeah. You would think as well, with I'm assuming obviously when Makwan's been over at SBG, they've obviously been working on stuff that let him down in the Arnold Allen fight. So I would assume you're going to see probably a stronger fighter than both of them when they come in there. Who would you? So is it Makwan you would favour in that one then?
Yeah, I think so. I think what you're saying about the guys at SBG, they would definitely have took the lessons for the loss and adapted and whatever. And Makwan's there all the time. Some of the stories I hear for the SB, Dylan took and stuff over, and Danny's quite friendly with guys like Peter Quealy and stuff like that. And the stories about Makwan in the gym, he's supposed to be frightening in the gym. You've seen glimpses of it in his fights and stuff. I think he should win this one. I think it will be an excellent fight, and he'll have a lot of resistance and stuff. But I think he'll definitely have learned some lessons for the loss.
Is this then a potential showcase fight for Makwan? Because obviously it's Jason Knight. He's relatively well known, Jason. Do you think this is where Makwan can take that, everything he does in the gym, and transfer it all into the cage?
I think it's a risky fight for him. I think with him coming off a loss, there's some guys that could have gave him even stylistically that would have been better for a showcase. It's a proper risky fight between two. Makwan's maybe more of a prospect, but two guys who are probably wanting the top 10 in the division and stuff.
Yeah. So
I think the danger in that fight is that Amirkhani ends up sinking a Jason Knight style, and that he's just one of these street, you know what I mean, like a kind of backyard brawler that just wants to keep coming no matter what you happen with. He's still going to come at you and make the fight ugly, and that's where Amirkhani needs to be a bit clever in there and avoid going to that level and using his skill to outmaneuver him. But I think it might go to a decision. This one.
Yeah, it comes down to who's the toughest contest. I think Knight's probably going to win that. But if it's like Makwan showing off his ability and his skill set and makes it a bit kind of scientific, he should do well that way.
Mm-hmm.
See, I felt myself, obviously, if it goes to decision, I would say you're probably looking at Makwan winning that, purely just because he seems to be a much more technical fighter, which a lot of times is going to play better in the judges' eyes as opposed to somebody like Jason Knight, who has got that more brawling sort of style. So I was leaning towards Makwan myself, decision. Obviously, Tom, as you're saying there, when you come in, so would you be leaning towards Makwan as well?
I think if he wins, it's going to be a finish. I think if it goes to a decision, it might be Jason's. He might just sort of outbrawl him in that sense and wear him down. So I'll just to be different. I'll take Jason Knight in a decision.
Perfect. And Peter, just while we're talking about the fight, just quickly give me your thoughts on it and how you see the fight going.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, well, actually, no, I wasn't listening there, sorry, but I was actually thinking about Makwan. Is he a fighter in danger of not living up to his potential? Because when his UFC debut, I think it was against Andy Ogle, he did the flying knee, and everybody thought he's the next big thing. And then there was some issues with the team he was with, and he ended up joining SBG. I think people were expecting him to fly up the rankings a lot quicker than he has, and I think if he loses this one, he's in danger of not living up to his potential, which would be a shame because he's a great fighter. And if he lives up to his potential, I'll pick him for the win. So I've just got a feeling, just with all the personal issues he's had recently and all that, but he obviously maybe needs time to settle down with a new team as well, and we might see the best of him now, and hopefully we will.
Perfect. Another fight I actually sort of missed, but I'll come back to is another UK fighter is Tom Breeze versus Dan Kelly. I'll go to you first with this, James. what do you think about that fight for Tom Breeze? Obviously, Dan Kelly, a very, very tough, durable guy.
I like the fight for Tom. I think he's coming back off an injury. I expect him to run through Dan Kelly.
Yeah. With Dan Kelly as well, he sort of picked up some wins against some big names. Rashad Evans, but obviously Rashad, maybe not the same Rashad he was years ago. I think the big name we've seen was Antonio Carlos Jr. Do you see this? Do you see this being an early finish for Tom Breeze?
I think he'll stop him the second round. I think Rashad was done when that fight happened. And what I remember about the Shoeface fight, I think Dan Kelly wasn't doing too well, and then did land a kick. I think it was a kick or something. He stopped him a kick, but Tom Breeze is like, he's a different animal. He's up and coming. He's physically, he's very good. Technically, he's very good everywhere. I think he's coming back off that as well. I think it's like a young, hungry, modern MMA guy versus this super tough, still quite judo heavy, punching mad Aussie.
Yeah, he's the one thing you would say about Dan Kelly is his striking's it's not the most fluid striking in the world. You would expect a young, hungry Tom Breeze to see everything coming at him. Dan Kelly's obviously not known as a guy that's going to throw a lot of speed at you. And I think that Tom Breeze is 3-1 in the UFC. Obviously lost his last fight to Sean Kelly. What about yourselves, guys? Peter, you any thoughts about this fight at all?
No, because I didn't research it.
Okay. we'll
It's Mick Kane's fault for no showing up.
That's all right.
I might sack him in the morning.
What about yourself, Tom? What do you think?
I think Tom Breeze will take this fight. I've been a bit unfair maybe to some of the British fighters, and I've went against him tonight, so I'm not going to do that again with Tom Breeze. I think the card needs an early finish, and I think Tom might take a first rounder.
Perfect. So we'll go back to Mr. Peter Knox, who's done his research on this one, I'm assuming. Arnold Allen versus Mads Burnell. What do you think, Peter?
Is it just me, or does anybody else think we're on live cams in Pornhub? No.
I wouldn't know, mate. I wouldn't know.
Well, just looking at your faces, I just think chick with a dick, but...
Jesus.
Like the only way I got this fight was because nobody else wanted it. I don't know why, because it can be a cracking fight. When I first looked at it, I thought this could be quite an even fight. But once you start looking into stats and breaking it down, everything seems to favour Arnold. Everything. He's on a 5-fight win streak. He's undefeated in the UFC. He's a balanced fighter. He's got knockout power. He's good on the ground. And then when you look at Mads, he seems to be more one-dimensional. He likes it on the ground. Wins most of his fights by submission. But what favours Mads is, I don't know if Arnold's been suffering with injuries or whatever, but he's no fought in about 13 months. So Mads seems to be more active. So if that will even it up a bit, I don't know. So Mads might want to jump on him and try and get on the ground in the first round, but I expect Arnold to come on stronger, especially with the home support and all that. And I expect him probably to win via decision or a late stoppage. That's the way I see that one anyway.
And James, how do you see that one going?
I actually know Mads Burnell quite a bit. I looked at him. Ian Feenan was matched with him at one point. There was speculation of him fighting, so I had looked at him and stuff. Phenomenal grappler, very good black belt. I was massively impressed with Arnold Allen in the Makwan fight. I thought Makwan was going to beat Arnold Allen, and he was excellent that night. I think he beats Mads Burnell. I think Burnell's jiu-jitsu is frightening. I think he's actually had some boxing experience and stuff, but his wrestling's not the greatest. And Arnold Allen showed with the fight with Makwan that he can wrestle, because Makwan's a brilliant wrestler. I think the time out with Arnold Allen is an issue, but he'll be time out. Added stuff to his game, and I expect him to win that fight.
Perfect. Brilliant. So we'll move on to the last fight of the night, the main event. Highly anticipated fight. Two phenomenal strikers. Obviously, the number one ranked welterweight in the world, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, fighting Darren Till, who, for the masses, has exploded onto the scene after that victory over Arnold Cowboy Cerrone. So we'll give our thoughts on this one. I'll start off with you, James. Obviously, you're the expert here. We're just the amateur guys.
Hang on, I'm a black belt in UFC. I'm the expert. Come on,
Peter, you wear Venom hats. You're not
hey, and I've got my tap out t-shirt on, which means I'm a bad motherfucker.
You sleep in that fucking t-shirt? Jesus Christ.
He probably watching. This is the guy that's running this website, Peter. Not. This is the gaffer. That's what we're up against.
That's why we got Frankie.
Problems. So, obviously the main event. What do you think of the fight itself, James? With these two guys matched up?
I think it's a brilliant fight. I'm actually annoyed I'm not going to be there. I'd like to actually see it live, to be honest. There's part of me thinks they've matched Darren well. Gaining Wonderboy, they've kept him away from Covington and Usman, and the kind of similar what happened with Connor on the way up. And they've gave him like the guy who's maybe the best division other than him. It's stylistically, it's a great fight. All that hard pressure in Darren Till and kind of counter the Wonderboy just matching up really, really well.
Yeah. And the one thing when I was looking at it, and especially looking at Thompson, Thompson obviously is a counter striker, comes from that points karate style where it's fast in and out, but normally he is the bigger, rangier guy, so he's catching a lot of guys as they're coming in when they can't hit him. So, but that's probably not going to be the case with Darren Till. I believe height-wise, their height and reach is basically the same. I would still say Darren Till's a bigger welterweight. He's got a bigger frame. Do you think that's going to play a part for Thompson not having that advantage in terms of reach and height?
I think Darren Till's going to be the best striker Thompson's fought in MMA. I think. We had Darren Till on a show in Lanark, a sport fight show. As an amateur, he was 16 years old when he came up, and he fought a guy for our team called Stephen McCready. And you could tell at 16 there's something about him. He came in and he was fighting at welterweight then at 16 years old, and he came in and he fought in front of about 600 people, and he was absolutely frightening. Like, just confident, controlled the distance. Very similar to what he's like now, but he's a lot more polished now. But I don't think Thompson's dealt with that, especially under the MMA rules. The fascinating thing for me is that Darren's going to go forward. He's going to go forward and he's going to walk him down. And it's whether Thompson can land stuff with the kind of karate counters and stuff. But I think, I don't know, I always pick a European striker over an American striker. The standard of striking in Europe through boxing, or for Thai boxing, kickboxing and stuff, generally is a lot higher. The same way it used to be where the American wrestling guys were much better than the European level wrestlers.
Yeah, and the other thing, when I was looking at it myself, I was looking at the finishing ability of both guys, and obviously Thompson is definitely a guy that can finish a fight and knock you out. He's not really known as a guy that will knock you out with the hands. It's more his feet.
Yep.
And when you look at Darren Till, he just, in terms of finishing a fight, he seems to just have more weapons than Thompson in terms of hands, elbows. Would you agree that he's definitely the more dangerous out of the two?
Yeah, he's got more weapons. His shot selections and his distance management is frightening, Darren Till's. I think he's also, the Cerrone thing's probably been a massive confidence booster for him. I think this fight's a massive step up, but I think Cerrone's pretty much on his way out, whereas Thompson's not been through the same kind of fights. He had those boring Woodley fights and stuff, but I think it seems like everyone's just aligning for Darren Till to shine. I think the UFC want him to shine as well.
The one thing about the fight as well, and I'll come over to you guys in a wee second, is Thompson seems to have the ability to take a good shot as well, so he's not going to be somebody that's easy to put away. I think Woodley hit him flush in both fights and still didn't get the finish, so I'll come over to you with this one, Tom. What's your thoughts on that? And obviously Thompson's ability to take a shot, and do you feel there's potential there for Till to finish Thompson?
I think, first off, I think hats off to the UFC for actually making this fight and bringing this fight over to the UK, because the way that they're building Till up, Thompson's obviously #1 contender. That could have been a fight they would have kept for themselves greedily over there across the water. So fair play to them for giving it over here and giving it to the Liverpool arena. So, but it's a fight everybody wanted. It's the two best strikers in the division. I think their kickboxing records between the two of them is nearly at about 100 fights undefeated. It's going to be phenomenal. It's one of these fights I just hope doesn't finish early. I want it to go. I want to see a spectacular. I want it to go to the 4th and 5th round. In terms of how I think the fight's going to play out, Thompson, I think, is going to just try and wear him down. I think he's going to hit and run the way he always does. That's his style a wee bit. Darren's going to have to stalk him down. He's going to be looking for the power finishes. It just needs to be able to hit him. You know what I mean? I hope he doesn't. I don't know what his cardio is like, to be honest. I've not seen enough of him to see to have a judgment on his cardio, but I hope he doesn't try and finish it early for the crowd and let that whole occasion get to him. Hope he fights clever and picks his shots wisely, because if he does, I think the fight's his. I think he's got the power advantage, he's got the aggression advantage as well. It's just how he tackles that fight and deals with Thompson's movement, because he does dance around that ring a lot, and he will have to go chasing him. I agree with James Doolan what he said about Cowboy Cerrone. He has a big scalp to take, but he is on his way out, but it is a confidence booster. Thompson's a hard guy to finish. You know what I mean? He's a hard guy to finish, but I think what Till's going to have in his back of his mind is that I don't think Thompson's got the power to put him away. I think if Thompson's win this, it's going to be in a decision, whereas Till will probably be able to finish the fight a bit easier, and I think Till will probably get a wee TKO in the 4th. That's my prediction.
Perfect. We'll come to you, Peter, as well, just to give us your thought, what you think of the fight itself and how you see it going.
Yeah, well, I knew you guys would look at it the way that you're doing, so I thought I'd look at it in a different way. So when the rumours first came out of this fight, it made me quite moist, and I thought any other fight, any other fight they make apart from this one would be a disappointment. So, but I know people would keep going on about Darren Till's power and you'll knock Thompson out, blah blah blah. Thompson will win by a decision. So if you take away the Cerrone, who's on his way out, if you look at Darren Till's recent record, he's no stopped anybody since 2015. You need to go back 4 fights. Then you look at Stephen Thompson. He's no stopped anybody for 5 fights, but he's been fighting the elite fighters, the best in the division. So it's this is going to be a big test for Darren Till. I don't think anybody's getting knocked out. I think this will go to a decision. I hope, my heart says Darren, but I think Thompson's going to edge it in a decision.
So you feel Thompson decision? No, that's fair enough. I think it is a very, very close fight, so it could go either way. And James, what do you think about the actual? Who do you think will actually win the fight, and do you see this fight being a finish or going to decision?
I think you take that Cerrone finish away, and Darren's not really finishing guys, even guys like Nicholas Dalby and stuff like that. But I think it'll go to points. I think Darren Till will take 3 rounds minimum. He'll take just enough for the 3 rounds to win. Maybe lose round 3 and round 5 or something, or round 4 and round 5. I think he'll definitely win the first 2, and then both of them will be there at the end. But they'll maybe hurt each other and land on each other and stuff. But I think Darren Till will just maybe want it a wee bit more on the night. But I think I can see him winning 3 out of the 5.
Perfect. So I think for slightly leaning towards Till, or most of I personally myself, I'm leaning towards Till winning the fight. Again, I don't think it will be a finish. I think Thompson's a durable guy. I think that's one thing that gets shown in the Woodley fight. Woodley's probably one of the hardest hitters, if not the hardest hitter in the welterweight division. And Thompson survived that, although it wasn't the best fights to watch. I think it'll go the distance myself. So before we go, guys, first of all, thanks very much for coming on. This is our first time doing anything like this on YouTube, so I apologise in advance to anybody watching this for Peter Knox tonight.
Actually, before you go, I've got one thing to say to James Doolan. Right, I entered a competition and won a T-shirt a couple of weeks ago. Everybody got it. It was 10 winners, and I've not got my one. So I thought I might have to threaten you tonight, but I spoke to Nimmy a couple of days ago, and he said it's on its way. It's a shame. No, but it was a shame because I wanted to wear it tonight. Because I thought when people see James on the show, then they see me with a Higher Level T-shirt, then people would probably think I'm Stevie Ray or something. So,
Peter, is it this T-shirt? I'm only kidding. I've not got it.
I think James is no sending you that T-shirt because he doesn't want you.
Hey, when I walk into the gym with the tap out shirt, everybody stays the fuck out of my way. So imagine what it's like for a Higher Level shirt.
That's because you're going to Pure Gym at 4 a.m.
When there's nobody there.
Actually, just before we go, James, is there anything coming up for Higher Level? What have you got coming up for the gym?
We just had 7 fighters at the weekend and won 6, lost 1. Stevie Ray's just had surgery on his knee, so he's due back in the gym a week today. He's 3 weeks out. Danny Henry's just had some shots in his elbow. He's got another 2 weeks before he's back training. And then they guys, once they get back in the gym, we'll start looking at our next fights. Callum Murray, I think, is getting back to EFC in August to Cape Town. And a couple of things. The big thing there is we've taken a couple months downtime with the number of fights because we're due to move to our new premises. So it's a lot going on. We try to keep the fight team ticking over, take fights, and then jump into this new place.
And have you got a date yet for moving into new premises, or is that still up in the air? Or
we think August.
August, perfect. And I just wanted to ask you as well. Obviously, Stevie McIntosh get back in there and got the win under his belt. How important was that for him? He had a bit of a tough go at with the no contest and obviously getting caught in his last fight against Niall Smith. How good was it to see Stevie getting back in the win column?
Yeah, it was good, man. It looked good. He's had those kind of setbacks, but again, it's part and parcel of the game. But his levels came up in the last year in the gym. He's got a lot better and stuff. So just a case of him going out and showing that. Now I think he's going get Callum Murray stag doing next week. I think, and then that's going to wipe out half the team for a bit. When he gets back, we'll look at getting him back out as soon as possible.
Brilliant. Well, thanks very much for joining us, James. Obviously, Peter, you were here. Thanks very much as well, mate, for coming on your time. We really appreciate this. Obviously, hopefully this is something we'll be doing a wee bit more regular. Just before I let you go, obviously for anybody watching this, if you can give our YouTube page a wee subscribe, that goes a long way for us. And obviously, as always, pop over to our Facebook page and give that a like as well, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at We Are MMA UK. But that's all for us. Thanks very much, guys, for jumping on.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Bye, man.